One day, you send crypto and the fee feels small. The next day, the same action costs more. Or your transaction just sits there, and the app doesn't really explain what changed. Most people assume crypto fees work like normal app fees, a charge added on top for using a service, something a company sets, the way prices are set everywhere else. That assumption makes sense because crypto looks like an app. You tap send, you see a fee, and you expect the system to behave like other systems you've used. But on most blockchains, fees aren't a service charge, they aren't a tip, and they aren't there because someone decided to raise prices. Fees exist because a public network has to decide what gets written into a shared record first, when more people are trying to use it than it can handle at once. In a normal app, you pay a company because the company is doing work for you. They run the servers, they process your request, they decide what happens next. A blockchain isn't that kind of system. There isn't one company approving transactions and taking payment for the service. Instead, there's a shared ledger, a public notebook that many independent computers help maintain. And those computers have limits. They can only write so much into the notebook at a time. So when activity is quiet, almost anything gets processed quickly. When activity is heavy, the network needs a way to prioritize. Fees are one of the tools the network uses to do that. Not as punishment, not as profit, as a signal. A calm way to picture this is to go back to the neighborhood notebook idea. Imagine the notebook has pages, and only a certain number of new lines can be added per page. When the neighborhood is quiet, there's room for everyone. But when a lot of people show up at once, all trying to add something, there's a line. And once there's a line, the system needs a rule for who goes first. Some blockchains use fees as that rule. If you want your entry written sooner, you attach a stronger signal. If your signal is weaker than others at that moment, your entry waits. That's why fees can feel like bidding, even if the app never explains it that way. You're not bidding for attention. You're competing for limited space in the next update of shared history. This is where people start noticing differences between blockchains. Some networks allow fees to move a lot when activity spikes. When demand increases, the priority signal increases too, and fees can swing dramatically. Other networks aim to keep fees more predictable. They do that by making different design choices about capacity, limits, and how congestion is handled. The important part isn't which approach is better. It's understanding that fee behavior is not accidental. Fees reflect how a network manages competition when many people want to use it at the same time. So if one blockchain feels calm and another feels chaotic under load, that's the system revealing its design, not malfunctioning. Now let's talk about what people worry about most when a transaction feels stuck. Most of the time, stuck doesn't mean broken. It doesn't mean your crypto is lost, and it doesn't mean the network is confused. It usually means the network has seen your transaction, but it hasn't written it into the shared record yet. In earlier videos, we talked about pending versus confirmed. This is one of the main reasons something stays pending. Your transaction exists. It's just waiting. And if the fee signal attached to it is low compared to what the network is experiencing right now, it may wait longer than you expected. That can feel uncomfortable because the app makes it seem like you already sent something, and now it's in motion. But the network doesn't see motion. It sees a request to update the record, waiting its turn. This is where the idea of cheap can be misleading. Low fees feel good when the network is quiet. They make everyday use feel smooth and simple. But under competition, low fees often mean low priority. On some networks, that turns into large fee swings when activity spikes. Instead of slowing down, the system lets people compete harder for limited space. On other networks, you may not see fee spikes, but you might encounter different limits. Activity may be constrained in quieter ways that only show up when the network is busy. Neither approach is free. They just handle congestion differently. The mistake is thinking cheap means simple. Sometimes it just means the system manages pressure using different gates. A calmer mental model is this. You're not paying to send something. You're attaching a signal to be included. You're asking a public network to write something into shared history. When lots of people ask at the same time, the network needs a consistent rule for ordering. Fees are part of that rule. You don't need to master technical details to understand this. You just need the right picture in your head. Because with the right picture, your reaction changes. Pending feels less alarming. Fee changes feel less personal. And the system stops feeling arbitrary. Fees aren't just a cost. They're information. They tell you how crowded the network is and how it's prioritizing activity at that moment.
So when crypto feels stuck, the first question usually isn't, where did my money go? It's, has the network written this into the shared record yet? If it hasn't, you're still in the space between being seen and being recorded, and fees are one of the ways the network decides when that happens. The app makes fees look like checkout prices, but underneath, the system is doing something mechanical. It's managing limited space in shared history. Once you see fees this way, the weighting makes more sense. The swings make more sense, and sheep stops being emotional and starts being contextual. That doesn't make every network the same, but it does give you a clearer way to reason about what's happening before money is at risk. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
Everything on this channel is about understanding how crypto actually works, not price predictions or hype, but the systems, rules, and shared records that make crypto function under the hood. When you understand how the crypto system is built, it becomes much easier to judge the claims, headlines, and narratives around it. That foundation is what we'll keep building in the next video. This content is for education only, not investment advice. And thanks for watching.